A year ago, I was trapped in a body that I didn't recognize. I was housebound, exhausted, and stuck in a cycle that I could not get out of. And I'm white. I'm completely wiped again. I don't know what's going on. I might have to put a nicotine patch on. Can't.
So this is Carnivore Claire. I started following her last year when I was on Carnivore. I think she was pretty much doing it around the same time as me. Now I'm not fully carnivore anymore. I'm Deb. I'm on day 40 of ketogenic therapy, so I'm pretty much meat based and losing losing the keto friendly foods more and more as we go into it. I'm pretty much completely carnivore the last week or two, but yeah, so day 40, I'm feeling good. I thought I'd go through this because this is for the carnivores or the people who really want to get into ketosis and stay in ketosis long term, because carnivore is the easiest way to do that.
Carnivore did help me to take my life back, but not in the way that you might expect. I followed all the popular advice out there, and some of it actually held me back. If
Yeah, I think last year when I was on carnivore, I think the biggest mistake I made that I have changed now is only eating twice a day, especially at certain times of the month. Being a woman in her 40s, I think when I eat um when I eat 3 meals a day, like that are meat, so they're not spiking my blood sugar, but when I eat more, I'm definitely more stable throughout the day. And I've also started implementing from Stacey Sims the idea of eating some sort of light protein before I exercise, not exercising on an empty stomach. That's new as well. And I definitely feel better. If you look at actually the video that I posted on day 40, you'll see that I went for like a drive. Like I went out for a drive today. Well, somebody else, my sister was driving, but I went around and I went like pretty much further than I've ever gone without doing my OCD to be able to leave the house. I'm housebound agoraphobic, and I didn't have to actually make do deep breaths at all. I didn't get any sort of panic. I didn't even, I don't think my heart rate even started to go up at any point. I didn't start getting sweaty, none of it. Um, Usually I would have to kind of take some deep breaths and things like that to kind of calm myself when I'm out trying to go out without doing my OCD stuff. And I didn't get it today. Like I feel really, really good. So like this ketogenic therapy, nutritional ketosis, all of these things, metabolic psychiatry, I really do think they're the way forward, and the easiest way to stay in ketosis long term is carnivore. But you don't have to do carnivore, but staying under 20 grams of carbohydrate every day can be tricky if you're not really being careful about what you're eating.
you're doing everything you're told and you're still not seeing the results that you want, then these 10 unpopular opinions will show you where you're going wrong. Hi, if we just
You have to say, like, look at the transformation from the beginning of this video. Like, I haven't actually watched this video, but I remember her from last year, and like, she has transformed.
meeting, my name is Claire, Carnivore Claire. On this channel, I help you to lead a carnivore lifestyle. We also talk about weight loss and chronic illness. Over the last year and a bit, I have lost 120 pounds and
Ooh, 120 pounds in a year. That's serious. It's crazy.
completely turned my life around. If I can do it, then you can do it too. There's a lot of advice out there in the ether where they give advice, and some of it just didn't fit very well for me.
Well, yeah, I have the same thing in that a lot of that advice that I was following was actually being studied on men. Again, Stacey Sims talks about this. And I know that Dr. Pelz and Mindy Pelz and all these different doctors, they talk a lot about fasting, and maybe there's different stages, but I think if you're a woman in any sort of perimenopause or menopause, I've learned that I really don't think you should be fasting really long fasts. It doesn't seem to work. Maybe before or after that period it works, or maybe it works for you, I don't know. but I'm certainly finding that that a lot of that advice that's out there, it doesn't necessarily work with female hormones.
Might be a little bit confronting, you might disagree, but stick with me to the end because I have seen the results and this is what works for me. Calories do matter. I'm sorry, but they do. So I hear this advice out there that calories don't matter on the carnivore diet. You can eat as much as you want and you will lose weight. Now, while this might be true for a very few people, for the majority, that is not going to work. It's
Okay, so I did not go on carnivore for weight loss, but I lost a huge amount of weight very, very quickly. Like you're talking about, 35 pounds kind of fell off me in about 3 to 4 months. I lost 5 to 6 inches of belly fat, which, I do hold the fat in my belly. Like I lost a lot of weight off the rest of my body, but like my belly, I obviously was metabolically unhealthy because I always carry my weight and put on weight first. It's always on my stomach area. Calories, I don't necessarily know if it's calories for me that make a difference. Now, I haven't put on that weight, but I do fluctuate between, because I don't weigh myself, so I measure my stomach. That's how I know whether or not I'm staying in the thing. And I fluctuate from an inch. If I eat loads of butter and dairy, if I eat, for example, if I eat potato, like I'm literally talking about one medium potato that's peeled so that it's under two, and that's the only carbohydrates I'd have for that day. But yeah, you guarantee my stomach's going to be a bit more out. If I eat loads of dairy, my stomach's going to be a lot out. Like I don't necessarily think for me it's counting calories, but there's definitely foods that will make me go up that inch, and then if I stay away from those foods, my belly kind of goes down again. Um, and that's, but I'm talking in between an inch. If my goal was weight loss, I do think you'd need to kind of have some sort of control of your calories. But a lot of these carnivores, especially these men carnivore influencers, will always say calories don't matter, you can eat as much as you want. And maybe men can. Again, this could be different for women.
certainly did not work for me. So when we come to the carnivore diet, often we have tried everything else out there. We've done the Weight Watchers, we've done the Atkins, we've done the keto, we've done the cabbage diet, we've done the Hollywood diet, we've done everything. And years of dieting, yo-yo dieting, can take their toll on your metabolism. So when you come to the carnivore diet, your metabolism is actually quite slow. So eating in excess is not going to help you to lose weight. It may over time reset your metabolism, but you are talking long term.
I'm glad she said that because you do see so much in the carnivore world of like, oh, I was healed in a week. And if you're metabolically unhealthy and you've messed up your metabolism by yo-yo dieting and doing all this crazy stuff like to your like yeah, it's going to take more than a couple of weeks. Maybe for the first while to see results, you do need to count calories.
You want quick results, and most people do want quick results. I wanted quick results and I got quick results. Then calories do matter. I think also another issue with this is that when we hear you can eat whatever you want, you can eat as much as you want, we just use it as an excuse to gorge. A lot of us come to this diet who have got eating issues with eating, shall we say. I don't want to get demonetized, so we're going to be careful with our wording. I myself do not have an off switch. I can eat and I can eat and I can eat. And they say you can't overeat fat and you can't overeat protein. You can. I have done it. I believe that I will always have to watch what I eat in order to not put on weight.
Yeah, so this is the reason why I find it so much easier when I just go more carnivore than keto because I tend to give in to cravings and binge more. Um, what I've been doing for the last year is eating basically carnivore-ish, and then once about every 10 days I'd have this complete binge of like everything like ultra processed and crap that and sugar and stuff, and that's why I wasn't seeing the same results as now. Like I'm on day 40 of being extremely low carb and not having any sugar or ultra processed food. Well, actually, maybe some of the meat I've eaten could technically be classed as ultra processed. Like, there's some stuff in bacon and stuff. I don't know. But you know what I mean? There's no sugar. So, um, mm, I do think as well that if I'm being honest, since I have started eating the 3 meals a day, and like even though I'm not technically hungry, I'll still eat something in the afternoon and things like that. I definitely have noticed that inch that I fluctuate between is staying on. So if your goal is weight loss and you can fast, you're probably better off to do it. But I honestly could care less about an inch of belly fat on my weight as long as I'm able to, like, my focus is 100% like getting over my, dealing with my agoraphobia and my OCD. And if I feel more solid throughout the day and I have an extra little bit of belly fat, an extra bit of weight, I could care less about the weight, but it depends what your goal is.
I had to be mindful of calories. Now, when I started in the first month, I wasn't. I wasn't at all, actually. I was following the advice that you can eat what you want, and I did eat what you want. Now, I didn't put anything on in the first month, but I didn't lose. And then the second month, I lost 20 pounds, and I thought, this is working, this is great. And then what happened? The weight started going back on again. And I was really keen to lose my weight as fast as I can, as most of us are. And this yo-yo weight loss, this fluctuation that was happening, was frustrating me. And perhaps if I had stuck at it and I was in no rush, then eventually I might have lost some weight. But I really do not believe that I would have lost the weight that I have. Initially, when I was fluctuating, I turned to fasting, so OMAD, and the weight started dropping. And if you're restricting your eating, you're restricting your calories. But after a while, that didn't work, and I had to go to calorie counting. And when I say calorie counting, I'm not suggesting that we go and count every single calorie, because you can't, because it is just an estimation. It is just an estimation. You can't know for certain how many calories you're eating, but you can have a rough idea. So what I did was, for 2 days, I logged everything I was eating to get an idea of how many calories I was eating, and then I reduced that. So I get a lot of questions asking me, how many calories should I be eating? I can't answer that for you. It's very individual. For me,
And I like her approach. She's very honest about how individual it is, and that's true. And I also think as well that it's really good that she's talking about she tried this and it worked for a while and then she had to change, because I do think women hormonally, like you probably, like, you're not going to have something that works for years and years and years. Like, it'll work for a while and then you need to modify.
how I worked it out for myself was, I ate what I wanted for 2 days. I logged the information. I saw how many calories I was having. I was also weighing myself on the scales daily. So then I carried on doing that for a few days and watched what the scales were doing. They were going up. So I thought, I've got to reduce my calories. So I would reduce my calories by, say, 200 calories. Keep watching the scales, see what the scales did. When I got to the point where I was losing a good amount of weight on the scales, I knew that was the calorie baseline that I needed to eat at every day in order to continue losing weight. As I got smaller and smaller, I had to reduce those calories in order to continue losing weight, and it's trial and error. My next unpopular opinion goes on from that first one, and that is that you can overeat approved foods. Carnivore is an extreme way of eating. There are only so many foods that we can eat. When we're restricting what we're eating so much, we tend to go to the foods that we love the most and just gorge on them. It can be a problem because often the foods that we love are very calorific. Like, for example, in my own experience, cheese is delicious, but it's very calorific. Bacon is delicious, but it's very calorific. One thing I really want to get across to you is that carnivore is not a free-for-all. It's not an all-you-can-eat buffet. You come to carnivore, you hear this advice, eat as much as you want, all these high saturated fat foods, and you will lose weight. And there are hundreds and hundreds of people in the forums.
So I'm just going to go through and see what the rest of her tips are, and I'll put the link to this video down below if you want to watch everything she's saying.
Saying on carnivore and days. To drive home to you is that just because it's animal based doesn't mean that it's good for you. Often many of us that come to the carnivore diet.
Well, there you go with dairy. The other thing is I've started so I make like ground beef, and I'll have some sort of clean tomato based sauce on it, maybe just tomato and basil or something, and then like add cheese to that. Oh man, it's so delicious. But it's no wonder that like I'm on the upside of the inch of the extra stomach with that, like, in fairness, because cheese, stuff like that, yeah, just because it's animal based does not mean it's not going to have an effect on your weight. What's the next one?
Which is organ meats are not essential. So when I first came
Okay, this is funny actually, because I just did this a couple of weeks ago. I thought, right, that's it. I'm gonna get really, really in. I'm gonna do this really, really well. And I bought a load of organic liver and heart and kidneys and all this kind of stuff. And I tried to mince the liver, and it was so disgusting. I don't know if any of you have ever tried to mince liver, but Jesus Christ, it stinks, it's messy, it's gross. I couldn't. And I just kind of tried to eat some of it, mix it like with the ground beef, and I tried to eat it. And I just thought, why am I doing this to myself? Like, seriously, like, what? Maybe in the future sometime, but like, why the fuck are you trying to find a lifestyle that you can live for the rest of your life, and you're going to eat stuff that you think is disgusting? Like, it makes no sense. That's why I'm not like 100% strict carnivore, because I like ground beef, but ground beef on its own is ew. Like, I don't like it. So I add a clean tomato based sauce to it, and that's fine. Like, it means that I can eat it every day, and it's cheap and it's healthy and it's good, and I'm still getting a load of fatty meat. So like, who cares? I don't think I don't know, you have an aversion to tomatoes, like, I get it, but we don't have to suffer is my point. Like, you seem to think like that like that it's fun to just eat steak all the time, like, but it's not really. I mean, it's delicious and you don't get sick of it, but it's not like fun. Like, sometimes you want to add a big lump of cheese to something, like, it tastes good. But I did try the organ meats. And what ended up happening was that my two dogs are so freaking happy because they now get all of the organ meats that's in my freezer. They get to have that and eat all of these livers, and they love it. So didn't work for me, but made my dogs very, very happy. But yeah, you don't have to
the carnivore diet, I heard advice that you must eat organ meats. Organ meats are the meats that have got most of the minerals, the vitamins. But in order to be healthy, you had to consume organ meat.
Okay, so this is going off the idea that our ancestors would have eaten every single part of the animal because there was no such thing as wasting food back in those days. You used every part of the animal. You used the fur for warmth, and you used every part. You ate everything. The eyes, everything was eaten. But also, you have to remember that they also chewed on the bones, and they got loads and loads of minerals from the bone marrow. So if they're eating an animal, like, they're basically like they're they're like sucking on the bones and getting all the bone marrow. Like we're just not doing that. So how far do you want to go? Like how far do you want to go with this eating like a eating like your ancestors? Because you know, if you're going to do it like it's impossible for us to be like our ancestors because our world is too toxic. So yeah, you can try, but you're never going to be like them unless you go live on an island someplace that's never had any. And even at that, actually, if you did go and live on an island someplace it's never had any human contact, you can be guaranteed the fish you get are going to have microplastics in it because there's microplastics everywhere. So, you know, you can be like crazy neurotic about it, or you can just eat what you actually like. And if that means you've got a bit of tomato sauce, you know, if you've got something that's like, as long as it doesn't have sugar and it's not ultra processed, who cares?
Eats. And I was faced with a dilemma. I really, really don't like organ meats. I remember when I was younger, not a carnivore if you're eating keto desserts every night. Now, this is like a catchy subtitle, if you like.
Okay, but yeah, I think the problem with these keto foods, and I don't know about the carnivore because you can't get carnivore foods, but the keto foods, yeah, they're low carb, but they're full of other crap. I think everybody, like the most important thing, I think for everybody in a general sense, is to stop eating ultra processed food. I think like no matter what your diet is, when you cut out ultra processed food and by extension of that, if you stop eating ultra processed food, you automatically stop eating refined sugar. Like if you do that and go to a whole foods diet, like you're going to feel better regardless. You're going to have more energy. You're going to feel better. Um, that's just a given. So yeah, you can't be keto. You can't be keto carnivore. You can't be metabolically healthy if you're eating ultra processed food like all these kind of keto foods are. But you know, they will try to make money any way they can. So if you're not eating their other food, they'll just make something and market it towards what you do eat. What's this?
Opinion is a biggie. For me, it is a biggie. And the opposite of it, which is what I heard, really it comes from an animal. I don't have milk, I don't have yogurts, I don't have anything else that might have sugar in it. I just eat those things, and when I do only eat those things with maybe goose fat or beef dripping and Celtic sea salt, then I feel the healthiest I've ever felt in my life. If you are struggling to give up maybe your favourite carby foods or drinks, and you just can't face going full carnivore, then you need to look at healing your relationship with food. That's a whole video on its own. I can't go into that right now. But it's a process that I went through over the years. If you watch my viral video, which is 10 Brutal Truths, then so my unpopular opinion is that you do not need to wait until you are healed in order to lose weight. So when I first come to carnivore,
Yeah, I don't really, again, I don't really care about the weight loss, so I'm just gonna skip through this one. What's the next one? Carnivore can't fix everything. Okay.
chat we've just had regarding the last unpopular opinion leads into this one, which is carnivore doesn't cure everything. The way the influencers talk online about the carnivore diet, they think it's this perfect pill for every condition out there. It's not. It's not going to cure. I've been told so many times that carnivore will cure my condition. Then when after like no.
Okay, yeah, this is definitely a thing. And I think actually I made a video that it's not public, but I think I made a video about this when I was carnivore and kind of saying like I think some people in the carnivore community, some of the influencers that are just like, you can't eat any sort of fruit or vegetable or anything like this, and you have to be extremely strict, and you can't eat eggs, and you can't eat dairy. It has to be just beef all the time. Um, and they think that carnivore cures everything. Does carnivore cure everything, or does the fact that you're in long-term ketosis fix your metabolism, repopulate your mitochondria with healthier, more numerous mitochondria, so your metabolic health is better and you just feel better? Your body is not inflamed anymore. Is that the reason why carnivore works for so many things? You can still do that without being like carnivore, or like just drinking water and eating beef. Like, you can heal your metabolic health with other diets. It just takes longer. Carnivore is definitely the quickest way of doing it. And it's definitely good for finding out if you have some sort of allergic reaction to certain foods. But if you stop eating certain foods for a long time and then you eat them, you're going to have a bit of a reaction, whether that's you're going to get itchy, or you're going to have some stomach distress. That's normal. It doesn't actually mean that you're allergic to that food. It just means that you haven't had something for a long time, and you've only been eating beef for a long time. If you've only been eating beef and drinking water for 3 months, and then you eat a potato, of course you're going to have some sort of reaction to it because your body's not used to it. But that doesn't mean that you're allergic to potatoes. Like, I do think that this just goes too extreme. And I don't think it's because of carnivore, even though I love carnivore and I recommend everybody try it to see, I think, because it heals. But it's because I think it heals your metabolic health. Because you are in long-term ketosis, you become fat adapted, and it heals your mitochondrial function. But yeah, they can be so they're like the vegans in that sense, that they can be so like, it's almost like they become almost like it's a religion or something for them. And yeah, I don't know.
9 months, I said it hasn't helped. They're like, well, you've got to give it time. If your condition is affected by what you eat, your gut, etc., then it likely will help you. Things like arthritis, autoimmune issues, stuff like that, it can be very, very helpful, but it doesn't fix everything. For example, in me, it hasn't fixed anxiety, it hasn't fixed essential tremor, it hasn't fixed my fatigue issues, it hasn't fixed my brain fog either. Now, those things.
Whoa. Okay. I mean, she's been on carnivore for over a year and it hasn't fixed her brain fog. It hasn't fixed her anxiety, her trauma. That's, you see, I mean, I don't know this woman, obviously, but like that would speak to me of the, like, it's a hormone thing. Like, I would, that's a lot. Usually people would say the opposite, that they don't have anxiety or brain fog anymore. And definitely they wouldn't say they had fatigue anymore. So, okay, I don't know. It's that's unusual, but at least she's being honest.
Things in other people may be fixed by the carnivore diet. You might be commenting right now going, well, I have brain fog and it fixed mine. That might be because your brain fog is caused by a different pathway to my brain fog. My brain fog isn't caused by anything to do with my nutrition. And so it's not going to fix it. I really want to set your expectations appropriately.
Yeah, that's fine, but you say like it's not due by nutrition, but it's not about nutrition. It's about your metabolic function, which is greatly impacted by your nutrition. But nutrition is not the issue. The issue is, are you metabolically healthy? Is your body working in the optimal way metabolically? And if there could be a million reasons why it's not, But yeah, I mean, at least she's being honest, and you know, that's really good. So
When I came to the carnivore, I was hopeful that I would be free of chronic illness, and that hasn't happened. So you need to understand that it will improve your life, it will make you healthier, but it might not fix everything. For my
okay, that's fair enough. And do I want to be one of those people who posts a video on here and says, "Oh my God, I've been on carnivore for 3 months and I'm like out living my life and but I was on carnivore for like 4 or 5 months, and yeah, I definitely didn't I definitely improved a huge amount, but I still wasn't out. I still wasn't getting over my housebound agoraphobia. My OCD definitely improved a lot, but I wasn't really going out, and I think that was like, it's like I felt better, but I still wasn't motivated to necessarily change. And that, like, you know, that's 5 months in. So um I don't know what the reason of that could be. It could be because I take Prozac, and sometimes you can up the effects of the medication. And one of the effects of Prozac is definitely not giving a crap. It does not give you motivation. In fact, it kind of strips you of motivation. So maybe it was something like that's the thing. We don't know. Like, we don't. These are all so new. We're not all under doctor's supervisions. There could be a million different reasons why I was on carnivore for 5 months, and even though I felt great and most of the time, and when I went out, I didn't get the same level of anxiety, but I still didn't motivate myself to continue going out. So why is that? Like, that's, you know, and then you have other people who are like, I was out living my life and had a completely different life. Everybody's different, but the truth is we just
south.
don't
It
know.
hasn't fixed my fatigue, my essential tremor, my anxiety, but it has fixed so much else. My mental health is so much better. I'm no longer obese, and I've got a lot of health benefits that have come from not being obese. There are still benefits. Just because it won't fix everything, that is not a reason not to do it. You may need to look at other areas of your life in order to improve things that the carnivore diet can't fix. Diet is a really, really, really important part. Arguably, self-aware to make my life better.
Fix your life, not just your diet. Yeah, I think that's really true. That's why I look at it from a metabolic point. It's all of you. What about your sleep? Are you getting enough sunlight? Are you getting enough exercise? It's more than just the diet.
Because I couldn't improve my life, do my work as I just talked about, but in the very early stage.
Carnivore isn't a free pass on mental health. Yeah, okay, well, she's pretty much covered that.
Just maybe the first month. And the last one's going to be uncomfortable for some of you. It's going to hit a nerve, but it's true. Too many people treat the carnivore diet like a religion. There, I said it.
I literally just said that a while ago, like that it's like a religion for some people. This is funny. What is it like? This isn't a religion. Stop treating it like one. That's funny.
It's out in the open. This is something that drives me insane about the carnivore diet. If you go in a Facebook group, a carnivore Facebook group, not mine, because my carnivore group is really, really relaxed. I've had other people comment about how relaxed it is, and it's friendly. It's just an extension of this channel, to be honest with you. So do come over and join me if you want to. I'll leave a link below. People get so het up about the label of carnivore. I know I did have a point earlier in the video where I talked about you're not a carnivore if you eat keto meals, which is true, you're not. But I'm not dogmatic about what a carnivore is and what a carnivore isn't. You should go in these groups just to have a laugh, really, because people get so het up about it.
Okay, well, I'm going to leave it there. Like I said, I'll put the link to this in the description if you want to watch the whole thing of what she's saying. But yeah, she's being honest. Like, I think it's good. I definitely kept writing on people's videos when I was carnivore, I definitely can remember so often writing in the comments, well, I've been carnivore for 6 weeks, and I, I'm not cured yet, and I'm carnivore for 3 months, and I still get anxiety because, like, there's definitely some the clickbaity things that they talk about, and they're like, oh, I was like, I had lifelong depression and I felt better after 3 weeks, and it just sets you up for failure. It sets you up. It motivates you to give it a go because it is an extreme thing. It does motivate you to give you a go, but it sets you up for failure at the same time. So this is she's got a very honest account here, and you can obviously tell the difference between the pictures that she has at the beginning of the video and how she looks here, because she does look, well, obviously she lost 120 pounds, but she does look healthier. She does look happier. Like you can see it in her skin and her hair and everything. She just looks a lot better. She just looks a lot healthier than she did, even if she's not like cured of everything. But it's good. It's nice. She seems like a nice person. And I think she's grown her channel a lot, and that's good. So anyway, like, subscribe, keep spreading the word. Like I said, I'm on day 40 now of this kind of metabolic therapy journey, and like I was so surprised today driving around of the fact that I didn't actually have to go, oh, okay, I need to stop talking for a minute because I need to do some deep breaths because I'm starting to get anxious. Like, I don't even think my heart rate started going up once. And that's just unheard of for me. So I'm actually looking forward to tomorrow because I'm going to take my dogs and try to bring my dogs to someplace new that I know they're going to love, and like try and get out of the car because I did stay in the car, like, but fuck it, at least I got out. Anyway, hope you're all doing well.